Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to do a Santa portrait. It should be really fun. Hopefully not too hard. I'm going to try to break it down into steps, step by step for you, so it's not too difficult. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He'll be man in chat for us, so let's get started. Alright, so this is my example painting that I did this morning, just kind of working out some of the colors and composition and everything. I think he was a lot of fun to paint. I really enjoyed it. I don't do portraits a lot, but Santa, you know, got to do Santa, so that time of year. So I started out with a neutral gray background. I kind of just mixed some burnt sienna, or I'm sorry, burnt umber and ultramarine blue to make a gray, and added some white to kind of get it sort of a soft light gray, so not too dark. And I'm going to go over real quick, we'll go over our palette with you, and then we'll draw him out. I've got Unbleached Titanium, Titanium White, Quinacridone Magenta, that'll be for the hat, Cadmium Red Medium, Cadmium Red Light, Cadmium Yellow Medium, Yellow Oxide, Burnt Sienna, Burnt Umber, Carbon Black, and Ultramarine Blue. So those will be our basic colors. We'll be mixing our flesh tones from those, and then, like I said, doing some of the reds in the hat. And if we've got time, we'll do maybe some holly berries on his hat too. I've got some phthalo green on the standby. So
and a tank.
Yeah. Depends on how long our face took. It didn't actually take me very long to do the example, but it always takes me a little bit longer to slow down and explain things, so hopefully we can get through it pretty quick. I'm going to use my Tombow watercolor marker here. This is kind of a light brown, and I'm going to try to use it to sketch out our face so you can kind of see what I did. So kind of the first thing was just to kind of figure out where I wanted to put the face, and I wanted his face slightly above mid-level. Probably his nose is right about the mid-level, just so I had plenty of room for his beard to go. And you could even do it on a longer canvas if you want. I'm using an 8x10 today, but I actually could probably move him up a little bit, but I'm not going to because I've already drawn him out. So ideally, maybe move him up a little tiny bit, but anyhow, so then I kind of figured out where I wanted to put his hat from there, you know, and kind of made sure that I just kind of usually visualize it in my head and try to kind of figure out how big I'm going to need for the face and that kind of thing. So then I started out by sort of sketching in the upper part of his forehead, kind of how wide I wanted his hat to go, and sort of did a nice wide band for that. And then sort of dipped it in on the sides and brought it down lower than at the top. So it's going to come down and wrap around the head and be a lot lower on the sides than it is at the top there. And then the hat is going to kind of come up and curve over and up around, dip back down, just kind of wiggle it around. There's really no wrong way of doing that. And then his hair is going to come out to the side, so it'll cut off part of that hat, and then the little ball in the end will kind of be in that area there. Then his face, we're going to define the sides of his face there, sort of maybe a little bit more on the inside there. Yeah, right about there. And then right down the middle, we're going to figure out if I was normally doing a face, I would kind of do an oval, and so his chin would be maybe about right here, and then split it in half, and that would be where my eyes would go. In this case, we're cutting off the whole top of the forehead, but the top of the head would probably be about where that top of that hat level sets, maybe a little higher. So I'm going to come down just a little bit and do his eyebrows just under the band of the hat there. And then right in the middle there, I'm going to do the little dip for the nose. And then right in here, I'm going to do kind of curved in where I want those two eyes to set. And I kind of come up at an angle and sort of flatten out and then come down right here. And then you're going to do that little teardrop shape right there. And they're going to come down a little bit and then sort of connect up to that. And then this side is basically the same. I can't see my drawing there. There we go. I did the eyes a little bit different. I have a reference photo, and in this reference photo, his eye was a little bit crinkled up a little smaller. So you can make a matching if you don't want to do it that way. But I feel like it kind of adds a little bit of realism if you don't have them exactly matching. So that's up to you, though. There's a crease for the eyelid there and there. And then there's some creases along the sides that come down. There's one that kind of comes down that sort of meets up with the edge of the eye on either side and then curves up and like that for his little wrinkles. And then there is a kind of a bag under his eyes there. A couple of them. Pretty close. I just kind of did parallel to the eyes, and then it curves down right here where it meets up with the smile line. And then there was another little one in between there. Okay, so his eyes, he's going to look really creepy at first. So
that's a nice way of
pretty normal.
saying wrinkle.
What did I say?
Smile line.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's a happy guy.
Not wrinkles.
No.
Smile lines.
Smile lines. And then for the eyes, we're going to cut off. So if you think about a circle, I think a lot of people, when they're doing eyes, they tend to have, we're going to draw on the back. So the tendency is to do it like this, and then to maybe make this one might kind of do like that, or it might go off in a weird direction, or be real tight when this one's like kind of longer. So just mentally do a circle, even though most of it is cut off. That eyeball is still a circle, so you're only seeing this part and this part, but it's going to continue up and above and below. So that'll keep you from having your irises in a weird shape. You know, like you don't want one to be like this and the other one to be like that. I see this all the time. And that, that obviously doesn't make a circle. So just make sure that when you're drawing yours out that you may even just draw the circle first and then cut it off like that. And then this part and this part gets cut off by the eyelid. But make sure that you're doing it in a circle. So, okay, done with that explanation. I'm going to say it multiple times because I see it so often. I don't want that to happen to you guys when you're trying to do yours. So just right like that and that. Doing our circle and just kind of mentally check it. Even after you paint it, check it. Just to make sure you're getting that curve correct. Okay, then you're going to come down from the inside of the eyes, and that's going to be where the outside edges of that nose is going to be. There and there. And it's going to do just kind of like a little bump. And this part is dipped down a little bit lower, and these two side pieces kind of come up and curve around. Like that. Then kind of diagonal from that, you're going to come out. There's these smile lines right here and here. And that's kind of where you're going to round out his cheeks from. So that'll kind of let you know where the edge of his cheeks go. And then the mustache is kind of, I don't know, kind of just have to sort of imagine, since the mustache is in the way, but, sort of imagine where the lips might be, come down. I did mine about the same width, maybe a finger's width or so down below. And then this mustache is going to dip down and curve up. So it's going to dip down and curve up. Kind of follow those cheek lines like that. And then we didn't put our pupils in, but our pupils are going to be here and here, right? On our eyes. Oh, he's going to be so creepy until we get those painted in. Better paint those in first.
It's the creepy stage.
It is creepy stage. So you're going to come from the pupil down. That's going to be the edges of your lips there. So there and there. And then we're going to kind of curve it in and down. We're not going to put in teeth. We're just going to kind of make it like a tongue, sort of like hanging out. So this will be dark in here. There we go. So there's our Santa smiling. And then we're going to just bring his hair and the beard around the sides. And that's about all she wrote there. Not too hard, right? Really the main thing is just to kind of get the dimensions on the face correct. You know, get those eyes and the nose in the right position. But I think it looks pretty good. All right. Let's start mixing some colors. I'm going to start out with a little bit of red, cadmium red. Okay, remind me where my thing. Okay, it's right there. All right. We had to move the thing since our picture is going to be blocking my hand most of the time. Red, a little bit of cadmium yellow, and a little bit of burnt umber, and then a little bit of ultramarine blue. And those could be our kind of main colors for the skin tone. And we'll just vary them in different strengths. So now we're going to make kind of a dark color, maybe a little bit more blue. Started out with quite a bit of red there. But actually with the Santa, it's kind of nice because you can go a lot more red than you might normally on a portrait, because he's got, you know, of course he's got his red cheeks like a cherry, right? Or nose like a cherry. So we can go a little bit darker than you might normally do on a portrait. There we go. So that's a nice color. That's actually pretty close to burnt sienna. That's why I put that burnt sienna out, to just kind of show you that you can kind of mix it. So let's go a little bit more blue, a little bit more burnt umber. It'll be our kind of a shadow color. This is not one to come off of my palette knife this direction. It's so small it doesn't want to bend that way. Okay, right there. And then we'll grab some of this color and make a little bit more of a yellow. A little bit more red. Kind of want sort of an orangey color. Might even add a little tiny bit of our Cadmium Red Medium. And I'm going to add some white to lighten it up. Start getting some lighter colors. It'll help if you do this, mix your colors beforehand, and that way you can kind of work quickly while you're painting in your Santa features and things. Okay, so that's a nice kind of orangey tone. Grab a little bit more white. Part's not that exciting, but thank you guys for joining us today. We really appreciate you. This is our Patreon bonus video, so those watching are the ones that have been supporting us this month on Patreon, and we would not be doing this without you. These are kind of those extra long, detailed videos that we get to do because you guys are so generous in allowing us to do these longer videos. I really prefer these kind, but YouTube doesn't. So I'm going to grab some yellow oxide and add that. So it makes it difficult to do these kind of longer ones because they just don't get the views on YouTube. So this way we can do these videos and you guys have subsidized them, so we don't have to worry about what YouTube does with it. do what we want to do. Alright, so this one had a little bit of yellow oxide in it. It's an actual I like that color. That might be kind of some of our base color. Let's do a redder version, so I'm going to clean that off and start out with a little bit of red. Am I still in camera? Yes, okay, good. A little bit of blue.
Yeah, I'm not used to having to pay attention to palette
A little
cam.
bit of burnt sienna, or burnt umber, I mean. Yeah, I know. Well, you can always close it down if it gets in the way. So if it's take the photo down, I mean, you know.
I'll put Santa on timeout.
Put Santa on timeout.
He's been naughty.
I like it. Okay, so that's burnt umber and ultramarine blue and red. That'll be a good, I think that'll be kind of our basis for our cheek color probably. Let's add some white to it, see what it looks like with some white. Yeah, that's a pretty color. Maybe even go a little bit more red. Or add a little tiny bit of yellow to it. Let's add a little yellow and see what it looks like. Oh yeah, that's pretty. Get a little bit more of a glowing feel. Not so dull. A little bit more. And the blue, and I mean, this is really, you know, just your basic primary colors that we're using here. But the blue, adding that burnt umber just kind of helps tone everything down so it's not so bright in your face. And when you mix all three of the primaries together, you get a brown as well. So, and just depending on the more, you know, if I want more of a yellow tone, we just add a little bit more yellow. If I want more of a red tone, we just add more reds, you know. But having all three of them in a mix there really kind of creates a interesting colors. So let's go really bright with this. Add a little bit of the burnt umber to tone it down.
So I got some Santa facts.
Mm-hmm.
So back in the day, Santa used to deliver the presents to my house early and hide them in the back of the closets.
Really?
Yeah, I think, you know, he just got too much to do on one night, so
he would have them in your closet.
I don't know if it happened to anybody else's houses, but yeah.
I found that he did that at my house too.
See?
I think I was about 6 or so when I figured out that Santa was hiding my presents in the closet.
It was kind of a myth then that he delivers everything in that one night. I mean, there's some stuff he does early, obviously.
Well, he's got a lot to do, so it makes sense that he's kind of doing some early deliveries. So,
So there you go.
Save room on the sleigh. Okay, so I added some burnt umber. I forgot what colors I started. Okay, I started with cadmium red light, cadmium red medium, cadmium yellow, and burnt umber. That's what this color scheme is here. Let's add a little bit more white here. This one is going to be very, 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 used very sparingly because it's so orange. You know, you don't want him to look orange, but sometimes, you know, you're going to have a little bit of oranginess. You might have the, you know, candlelight glow. I don't know. But
can you turn your sketch upside down? It's kind of creepy, just kind of staring at me with those beady eyes. While you're mixing it. There you go.
Eyes.
Yeah, that's better. Thanks.
Grab some of the yellow oxide, add that to this color. I'm going to have way more color than I need on here. Got
Now you only got one eye covered. Come on.
Grab a little bit of burnt ultramarine blue. That'll tone it all down. That blue and orange are opposite on the color wheel, so they'll neutralize each other. Create more of a kind of an olivey brown.
You're only getting one eye covered there. You need both. Okay. That's better. Thanks. That was just even creepier.
It was even creepier. It was like he was peeking out at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's just do some yellow oxide over here with some white. All right, I think that'll be a good starting point. I might want a little bit of blue. Am I off? Yep, I sure am. Okay, I'm going to have to get it. No, it's okay. I'll move it over here. I think I've got room over here. Put them back up so I can see. Yeah, I can put it over here. Just do it over here. Let's do some blue and a tiny bit of red. Kind of a purpley. Purpley blue base, and I need to spray that down so it's not going to dry. Because you did all these mixes and you want it to dry before you get the chance to actually paint anything with it. And some white here. Let's see what we got. Oh, that's pretty gray kind of. Let me add a little bit more blue. That'll be a good color. That's like eyelid color. There's a lot of blue around the eyes. Okay, I need more white and we get started painting. Let's see. So I did my example one with the Filbert. This is a number 2 Filbert Isabey is acrylic. It's actually not on the brush guys list. I got it just online. But if you've got a small Filbert or your small flat bright would work as well. I'm just going to use the Filbert because it's a little bit more soft and rounded. And we'll start by kind of putting in some of our darker areas. So I'm going to grab that sort of burnt sienna type color and start in around the eyes and some of our shadows around the eyes. Place those in. I'm going to go over what we've already drawn in there. We're going to kind of work from dark to light like we normally do with acrylics. This kind of works the same with this painting. It's going to look really weird before it looks better, so just kind of know that going into it. It's normal. As always, we're going to have a definite ugly stage on this. Let's put this in some of our shadow areas just to kind of throw in some dark areas. Okay. And let's put some in the mouth here. I'm going to grab that red that we mixed up and put that in there with the tongue. That'll be a good color. I have no idea what color that was that I used in there, so I hope I don't have to mix anymore because I think it had just red and blue mostly. Let's grab some of that pink color. And I'm going to work pretty quickly because I want to kind of get that wet on wet effect and sort of do some soft blending as I work. So I'm going to be kind of picking up and moving pretty quick between the palette and the canvas. We'll need to put some darker colors in the mouth there, but that'll be a good start. Let's put a little bit of this red under his cheeks, kind of in that reddish, and underneath the nose, in those red areas. Really, most of the reds are going to kind of go down here around the cheeks, maybe a little bit under the eyes. Definitely creepy stage. Let's grab some more of that lighter pink and kind of blend that in slightly. Just kind of working softly, very light touches here. Kind of softly blending as I go. Really, at this stage, don't worry too much about what any one brush stroke looks like or what it, you know, what it's doing. I just want you to kind of get the color down on the canvas, and we can adjust later. So right now we're just kind of wanting to put our first layers of color in, and then we'll go back in and decide if we need to, you know, adjust anything. All right, take that off. Let's get some more of our yellows up in our forehead. So I'm going to grab this kind of middle tone color. It has more of that orangey feel. Put some of that up here on our forehead. What?
Wendy would like to know, are you dry brushing?
No, I'm doing wet on wet, so I'm kind of laying it down fairly thick, and then putting my next color in and kind of blending them together. There, so I'll grab the kind of like darker version of that color, put a little bit up here, maybe blend out over the top of that dark up in this area. And I find that using a smoother palette, especially for portraits, a lot of times they'll use like a smooth linen or something like that. Smoother is better with portraits, I feel like. So you may want to, if you've got kind of a rougher or more textured canvas, you may want to adding white to this flesh color over here, the pink version. You may want to put a couple coats of gesso on just to smooth it out a little bit. You can even sand it if you want to, just to try to get it a little bit more soft. The colors are going to look a little bit weird at first, so we're just going to try to kind of work with them until they tone down. Let's grab some of that orangey color, get that up here on the top of the cheeks. Maybe a little bit up in the forehead. Okay, let's grab the dark brown. We'll go in around the eyes and deepen up this crease here. I'm going to grab some of that blue that we mixed up and put in a little bit of that on the inside of the eye, right here and here. It's kind of blending a little bit with that darker color that I just put in too. There we go. It goes together fairly fast. Put a little bit of this shadow color down here. And let's put a little bit of it on the sides of the cheeks too, just to kind of tie that in together. Sides of the face. There we go. So let's use that pink again.
So is this kind of like doing makeup? Seriously, like you blend in different layers and
A
stuff?
little bit, yeah. Yeah, a little bit, I would say. Getting that pink that's down.
Not that I would know.
When you're doing your makeup, is this kind of the same techniques you use?
Put the foundation on and then the eye blush stuff. And
Eye blush stuff. Yeah. Yes, honey. Similar.
Is this why it takes so long?
Yeah, exactly. So this is that kind of medium pink color here, and I'm just kind of adding it up and around the eyes, creases, and that kind of thing. Well, he's already kind of taken shape. Not looking too bad. Let's add some white here to our pink. And we'll put a little highlight on his lip there. Just kind of pulling to the side. Oh, much better. Good. Did you just zoom in?
Yes, I did. Yep.
You were supposed to do that earlier.
I know. You even told me before the show.
I forgot to tell you too. I forgot to remind you too. Got to going and forgot. So there we go. Add a little bit to the nose here to kind of pop that nose forward. It's kind of at the top there, and a little bit on the side nostrils. There we go. Just kind of getting those cheeks rounded out. Putting some highlight on them. There we go. Let's get some of that dark color here. Put it down in here. You may want to, when you're mixing yours, kind of lay your colors out at the same places that I did here, just so that you can keep track of what I did, because I don't remember what colors I used, or I would be saying it. I just kind of mixed as I went. So grabbing some red here to add to that color. Add a little bit of that in the tongue area. A little bit in our shadow of the side there. And there. Okay, let's add some of that color. I like that. That's the I think it was Ultramarine Blue and Red and Burnt Umber, this color. And now I'm adding a little bit more red to it. And we'll add this in the cheeks down in here. Deepen up that cheek shadow. Grab that kind of blended color, and we'll blend that in. Let's grab some of that yellow. We haven't used that yet. Let's use a little bit of the yellow on the top. Grabbing that burnt umber or burnt sienna kind of color here. Let's deepen up our crease shadows. switch to a little bit smaller brush here. I'm going to grab my 2-aught. We'll work on the eye a little bit. You're welcome, Mark. Let's spray my palette in. We'll use the Ultramarine Blue. I'm going to add just a touch of burnt umber to kind of tone it down, make it a little bit more gray blue. There we go. And then I'm going to outline the eye. The outer rim is a little bit darker usually. Now it all depends on the eye color obviously, but add a little white to it and tap in around. I'm not going to worry about the people right now too much. Just want to get in some color on there. One other thing to mention is, you know, obviously you want to make sure that the circle, whatever circle you do, size you do over here, you do the same on this side. That way they match. So whatever, even if part of it's covered up, you still want the size of the circle to be the same. Okay, I'm going to pull in from the outside in just some little lines. There we go. Grab our black and put in our pupil. Don't worry about your highlight right now. We're just putting in our, get them parallel and the same size, obviously. Pretty good. I'm going to use this dark, maybe even grab a little bit of that blue and go around the top of the eye now to really deepen up those shadows in that crease. This part is almost completely black, just slightly tinted. Same thing on this side. This whole area is pretty dark. And one of the things that will help your eyes in general, just doesn't matter if it's human or animal, is to make sure that you shadow the iris, or the white part of the eye, not the iris. So here's my white, and I'm going to use just a little bit of our flesh tone here. Maybe a little of this blue-gray. That'll be a good color. Okay. And we're going to go in and put in our whites. The whites very, very often are not perfectly white. They're usually tinted a little bit, unless you're, you know, directly looking into the sun, maybe. I don't know.
Or especially if you've been out delivering presents all night.
True. He's a little bloodshot. Let's grab a little bit of that brown, and we're going to shadow the top portion of the white of the eye. And that will give it a, it'll set that eyeball into the face and make it look more realistic. And we could even go darker than that, probably. Maybe a little more gray. There we go. And just a little tiny bit of yellow to make that blue a little bit more green, maybe a little tiny bit more aqua. Mixing that with the white. So that's our blue eye color with a tiny bit of yellow and white here. And give him a little, there we go. Lighten up the eye just a little bit, give it a little sparkle. Let's get that a little bit darker color. Kind of blend it in slightly. This painting, I'm keeping it kind of more painterly, maybe. It's not going to be super smooth. You know, I want some of the brush strokes and things to show. So we're going a little bit, like I said, more painterly with it. So I'm going to define that nose back around. It kind of lost some of its shape there. And really, the personality of the face can really be changed a lot by just changing the shape of the nose. So, you know, if we give him more of a pointed nose, he'd kind of maybe look a little more ethnic, I don't know. You know, there's all different kinds of shapes to the nose. Mark's more Italian nose. We have, you know, more of a straight bridge here, less of a button nose. I actually was going to use my dad as a model. My dad has a real good Santa face. But I couldn't find any good photos to use as a reference, so unfortunately, I've always thought he'd make a good Santa at like Christmas time. He's got the white hair for it too, the white beard. Okay, I'm gonna grab some of that brown, really darken up this area down in here. Okay, let's grab some of that brown and do around the eye here in this crease. Now that we've got the eyeballs in, we can see, you know, we need to kind of set those eyes back in the head a little bit more, just darken up around them a little bit. Create some shadows happening. Just trying to get my values dark enough. You really want it to, if you don't have your values dark enough, it's just going to look a little bit flat. Of course, you don't want it to go too dark too quickly. That's kind of why I'm building it up in layers, because it can end up looking like he's got a black eye real quick. Okay, so let's put in some of our lighter colors here. Let's grab our Unbleached Titanium, because that's a good highlight color for our face. And I'm going to give him a little bit of a highlight on his eyelid, the inside of the eyelid there. So going to be a little bit of a highlight right in there. And then there's also going to be a little area that's highlighted kind of on the inside of that little Cupid's bow or whatever that's called right there. What is that called? I don't know.
Cupid's bow?
I don't know. I'm not sure if that's what it's called. These are not matching up, so I need to bring this one down. I'm noticing. I need this one maybe a little higher. And this one needs to come down a little lower. No, the Cupid's bow is on the part of the lip. I don't know. I don't know what this is called. This little inner eye portion. This part right there. Give it a little highlight there. And put a little lighter color on the top of the lid where it might be poking out a little bit more at us. Grab some of that gray. Blend that in. This part of the eye usually kind of pokes out right here, catches some light. And then the tops of all the creases are going to have a little bit of a highlight too. So kind of the middle part of all of those creases in the eye or in the wrinkles are going to have some. There we go. Now he's starting to kind of look like a Santa face. Grab some of that darker color, and I'm going to bring this part down a little bit to match this other eye. There we go. Just want this and this to match up. Bring this up higher. There we go. Okay, let me fix the pupil on this one. Is a little bit off center. Straighten it up a little bit. Same thing with this one. Maybe use a little bit of that dark black, gray. Outline the eye a little bit. And I'm going to use some white. Get nice and bright. And put my highlight right there. Make those eyes sparkle. And then let's add a little bit of that bright white just in the eye, just slightly. And then I want to water it down some and add a little bit of a glow right in here. There might be like a reflection. Okay. Then he needs a little bit of eyelashes. And no, not too many, but he needs a few. So let's kind of go just underneath that lid there and just do some little dots like with the black here. Just a few little. Keep it random. put a few at the top too here, just kind of create some uneven border on this upper eye crease here. Doesn't have to be super, like I'm not, you know, putting lashes in. I'm just kind of doing these sort of crisscrossing lines and things there. Oh, he's cute. He looks very smiley now. I like it. All right, let me grab some burnt umber and black and some white. I'm going to create a gray for his eyebrows. Start those in. And the eyebrows will kind of start just on the, they kind of come over. So kind of, you know, if you use this little section right here, that's probably about where you want to start the eyebrows. So they kind of wrap around the eye a little farther than the eye itself. Okay, I'm going to put the crease down here a little bit lower on this one. Make them match a little bit better. Okay, it's looking good. Use some of this gray in the creases of our shadows there. I'm liking it. Okay, we're still going to work on the cheeks some, but I'm going to start putting in some of this color in our beard, and that way we can let it be drying while we're working on the rest of the face. So I'm going to grab a little bit more and make a little bit bigger pile of this gray, burnt umber, black, and white. Oh, it's, yeah, sorry, got it off the camera, but it's, well, it's okay. It was close enough. So let's use that as our, what are you laughing at?
So we can use that as like the bonus. So
What?
if you want to see the colors beneath the Santa.
Yeah. I'm going to grab some Ultramarine Blue and put in some of that color too in these shadow areas. Then don't be afraid of going nice and dark, because we want some color underneath our beard, or our beard hair. And then right up underneath the lip, go a little bit darker maybe around underneath the mustache there.
It is quite interesting seeing the evolution of the face. With every different color you add, it changes it. Changes the perception.
I know, it's really fun. I don't know why I don't do more portraits. I do enjoy them when I do them. They're just, you know, it's just not something I tend to enjoy or want to paint, I guess. It's not that I don't enjoy it, it's just I just don't. When I see something I'm more like I guess you could put flowers on the face. We could make him boho Santa. Give him some flowers on his hat.
Like I said, he'd be driving a tank too.
Oh, that's true. Put some of this dark gray up underneath the nose here. Just make sure you've got the mouth kind of as dark as you want it to be before we start putting in our hair. You don't want to have to paint around your individual mustache hairs. That would be not fun. Okay, I'm just doing the beard hair a little bit different color just so I can have an easier reference. Let's spray that. I'll grab some of this brown from the face too. Use a little bit of that in the beard. Just tie it all in. The more you kind of, you know, I've said this before in my other paintings, but, you know, using the colors from the face down in the beard, you know, we may not think of using browns in a white beard, but it will really tie in your painting and make it more unified. So just a little tiny bit will do it. You don't need a lot of that color, but your eye will make that connection for you, and it will look a little bit more pleasing, a little bit more realistic or good for your composition. I don't know why. Just do it. That's it. Alright, let's grab some white and kind of make a little bit lighter version towards the bottom here. And I don't think I'm going to use the rake. I think I'm just going to kind of do the hairs a little bit more. I was looking at the Norman Rockwell versions of some of his Santas, and his are very kind of brushed painterly. They're not super fine details, you know. So that's kind of who I used as my sort of inspiration. I'm not copying him by any means, but I am, you know, kind of using his style somewhat, you know, stylistically, trying to kind of emulate him a little bit. We're channeling Norman Rockwell today. we were doing Bob Ross the other day, so. And his images are still they're still under copyright, so I can't use them as a direct reference. Or I would, for sure. Let's add a little bit of blue and this yellow here together. Create kind of a green-gray. Probably ought to give him a little bit of red under there if we want to. Now, Norman Rockwell did not have he didn't have anything around his Santa, the one I was looking at. It was just on a white background. But I figure we can give our Santa a little bit of a red coat there. So now I didn't do this on my reference. On mine too, I kind of did the white. So just whatever you prefer. I think I'll go ahead and do a little bit of a red at the bottom here. So let's see, his neck would be here, so his shoulders would be coming down right about here. I'll just go ahead and put some red in. That'll kind of make the white beard really pop up, give it something to pop against. pop against. You know, I know how you like that word, so. some of that Quinacridone Magenta, make it even more of a deeper red there. And maybe a little bit of black. Black, Quinacridone Magenta. Oh, I'm underneath my Santa there.
I was just noticing that.
Okay, black, Quinacridone Magenta, a little bit of red. Here, we'll use that as our shadow on our, we'll want a shadow up underneath our Santa beard. Grab some more of that red. We're going to need a couple coats on here because it's not covering very well. There we go. Well, let's put some of this up in the hat while we got it out. Might as well. Let's grab that dark shadow color and we'll put it up here, kind of along the top edge of our rim of our hat. And then we're just going to kind of create some folds in it. So maybe here might have a little bit of shadow. Maybe around here we'll have a little crease where that sort of folds in on itself. Let's do a little bit right in here where it kind of connects with the little ball there. Maybe do a fold all the way across right here. Just trying to figure out where the light would hit it if it was folded, you know. So we'll have that hitting the light. Just using the Cadmium Red Medium here with the Quinacridone Magenta. Create a little color story. And then grabbing that darker red. Oops, I really want it to stick to. Let's see, we'll give it a shadow along there. Really just filling it in at this point. We'll kind of come back in and put some highlights in it, but right now we're just putting the main colors in. Making sure I cover up all my lines from my sketch. Depending on the thickness of the fabric, you can really get some like almost severe cuts, you know, severe angles in your fabric too. So you might have more squared off edges in some places. You know, like maybe right here we'll have, let's do that. Have it kind of come out at an angle and cut back in more severely. think we want a shadow right there. Okay, let me grab a little bit of white, mix that with our reds there. And let's see, we'll put a little highlight there maybe. Let's do a highlight on this part. Okay, we'll let that set and dry. Maybe put a little highlight on his fabric here, give it a fold of some sort. I want to make it higher. Okay, I'm going to stop fiddling with it right now. I keep saying, but we'll let it set. And dry. And I think I might bring it down a little bit on this side too. Let's put in some of our hat details. The brim there. I'm going to mix the Unbleached Titanium with Ultramarine Blue here. I'm going to bring this out quite a bit more than I drew it.
So, do you know about how many Santas you've painted in your career?
You know, I haven't done any like super detailed like this, I don't think, ever. I've only done like crafty type, you know, ones. But didn't we do button covers once that were, I got burnt umber here, so this is making that kind of gray with this blue. I want to say we did button covers with Santa and gingerbread and snowman maybe at one point. I don't know. I did just so many things. So many different variations of things over the years. There's no telling. I'm going to bring this out. That blue. And brown. Yeah, there we go. That's looking good. And if you want it to be more fur-like, we can do, like I'm kind of doing it more like felt maybe, but if you wanted to do it more fur-like, you would just kind of do like little, well, we could do that actually. I kind of don't mind that. We can do little hairs kind of coming off, overlapping, but I'm gonna want it a little bit more of a small nap, a little bit more like a a felt cap for that part. Some of that brown with the unbleached titanium. Now that we've got that kind of red border there, we can sort of go overlap it just a little bit. Get a little bit brighter white kind of right in the middle. And then the darker colors sort of around the sides. And I'm just sort of tapping and moving my brush up and down and side to side, tilting it sideways every now and then so they get random brush strokes in there. Good. Some really white.
Oh, I'm going to side cam it there.
Okay, do it. Go for it.
So, Daisy or Santa have any tattoos? Like neck tattoos or anything like that? No?
Don't open till Christmas. Something like that.
Wow.
I don't know.
I don't
He's
know
got
what
all
to
the
say to
Rudolph's.
that.
He's got all the reindeers' names tattooed. Go a little bit darker here with our shadow color, that blue. Get some of that darker blue in there. I'm not going to be able to finish this part right now because I still need to do the hair, but I'm going to, this will be our first layer on our hat here. And we still haven't finished our face all the way either. So, maybe a little bit of the white and unbleached titanium here. Did I get in trouble for that remark? I don't know. I didn't mean it that way. I honestly didn't.
I think YouTube kicked you out.
Did they?
Yeah.
They're like, nope.
It's too racy.
Too racy. It's just what popped into my head, I guess. I don't know. Just thinking of Christmas sayings. Get some more of the unbleached titanium over here. Just gonna want to, smooth transition like always, between the shadowed and lighter areas, just kind of gradually getting a little bit darker as I come around this corner and into this side area there where I want it a little more shadowed. It's looking good. All right, maybe a little bit more darker. Just down in here, a little bit more of that blue. Even if we don't change the value, just having it blue will push it back visually. It's really weird how that works, but it's just the way your eye interprets color. All right, and a little bit more ultramarine blue here. How long have we been going? Oh, yeah, an hour and 22. Not too bad, really. We've gotten pretty far on his face, especially.
About an hour 15.
I feel like we need to still adjust that eye there. This one's still looking a little bit lower, so I'm just going to bring the shadow underneath it up a little bit. Right here. probably need to soften that up just a little bit. Grab some more lighter flesh tones there. Let me use that bright flesh tone, maybe add a little bit of the Unbleached Titanium to it. And we'll put even more highlight around these wrinkle lines there. Really make them pop out at us a little bit more. Okay, and I want to work on his nose, so let's grab some of our pink color and mix it with the Unbleached Titanium there. And I'm going to put a highlight kind of at the top of the nose right there on either side. Round that off a little bit, and then we'll do the same thing here. We'll kind of figure out where we want the top of the nose sort of to be and sort of round that out a little bit so that it's kind of more bulbous. Got a button nose, right? Got to give him a button nose.
I think that's Frosty.
No. It's Santa.
Okay.
Got, look up The Night Before Christmas. It's in that. So The Night Before Christmas, all through the house. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, you'll need to read it. You read it. Hopefully we won't get trouble. Hopefully it's not under copyright. So I won't get in trouble for reading it. I think I went out a little too far there, so I'm going to just grab some of that darker color and bring it back in. Really, blending is all about managing those transition between colors. Just trying to get that middle color just right so that you don't have it going too abruptly from light to dark. Figure out where we want our cheek to be most prominent, maybe right in here. Wherever you're putting these light highlights, that's part that's going to look like it's kind of coming up out at you. So get a little bit of...
Okay, so it says that his eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a...
Cherry, hello, thank you.
Like a button.
No, like a... Did I say a button nose?
Yeah, you said a button nose.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said like Frosty.
Is Frosty?
The corncob pipe and a button nose and two eyes made out of coal.
I hate it when you're wrong, right?
And it happens on air, so thank you. It is now forever.
Dang it. You're right. Corncob pipe and a button nose, you're right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. His nose like a cherry. Well, a cherry's round, so it could work.
Yeah, try to get it out of that one. Go ahead. Try to explain it away.
Dang it. I hate it when you're right. grab some of that orangey, kind of more golden color with our Unbleached Titanium here. We'll put a little highlight along the forehead to kind of brighten that up a little bit. Ow. I don't know why I'm holding both of my brushes, but I am. I'm switching back and forth between them, so. I think I might want that a little bit more in the middle. And then let's run it side to side a little bit so we get kind of the impression of some wrinkles up there. In fact, let's put in some wrinkles. We'll get that kind of medium brown color.
AKA laugh lines.
Yeah, let's put in some wrinkles in his forehead. My picture didn't have any, but I'm gonna give him some maybe lines right there. Now just kind of taking that medium color and sort of blending these all in. So we're not going to do them as hard as we did these ones. They'll just be a little bit more softened, a little bit more of a suggestion than a hard line. There we go. Now we'll get our highlight color and sort of do it around those. Maybe have a really bright highlight right up here on his brow bone. This is that Unbleached Titanium. There we go. It kind of brings that, pulls that part of the head forward. I feel like it needs a little bit of pink though. Give it a little pink. Give him a little highlight right here in the bridge of his nose. Maybe that part kind of comes forward just a little bit. Just a slight highlight right there. And then I want to continue to kind of build up this highlight area in his cheeks. So we'll keep adding lighter and lighter color until we get it as bright as we want it to be. Get some white. This may be too bright, but we'll put it down and we'll let it set. It may dry a little bit darker, so put it down and then let it set there for a minute and see if it still looks too bright. Sometimes when you put in your kind of brightest colors, at first it'll look out of place, but then kind of after you live with it a little bit, it'll kind of make more sense. So we'll put it in nice and bright there and let it live with it a little bit. Alright, I feel like the mouth could still use a little bit of work. I want to make it a little bit darker on the inside, so I'm going to grab some of that maybe Quinacridone Magenta and Ultramarine Blue And then mix some burnt umber with it. So make kind of a violet purple color. There we go. Make sure you shadow the sides of the lip almost as dark. There we go. That's better. And then let's use this color up here underneath our hat in some of our shadow area on the forehead. Here again, using the same color in multiple places so we don't kind of just have it in one area. Let's put it on our cheeks there too. Really darken that up. Get his face in dimension. Alright, I feel like his underside of his nose needs a little bit of a shadow, so let's use some of that pink. And it still has this purple on my brush, so it's going to mix with it. And we'll kind of go up underneath his nose just a little bit with this color. There we go. Maybe use a little bit of this violet around the eyes. Oh yeah, I like that around the eyes. It looks really good. Okay, we're just about there.
30 minutes.
Huh?
30 minutes.
I really like the face though. I'm happy with it. I think looks very realistic. That's kind of what I was going for. Was more realism this time. So he's still cartoony enough, you know. He's got the kind of more button-in nose and I don't know, but definitely has a level of realism. Alright, so let's start putting in some hairs here. And I'm going to go ahead and use this brush until, and if I can't get small enough ones, then we can move to another brush. But I'll go ahead and start with some white and unbleached titanium. Those would be my main two colors for the hair. So start in here and just kind of use it on its edge and start laying in and make sure that I go down below my lines there. Leaving a little bit of space just where it's kind of starting. Yeah, go ahead and zoom right in there. Good. So going kind of straight down right here. And then as it comes around the side here, I'm going to start angling them out. And really, I probably need to do the mustache last. I don't know why I started with it, because it's going to be the one on top. So we'll do the beard first here. Oh, it's looking good though. I like the dark color. I think we got it dark enough under there. Okay, so let's do around the face here. And I'm just going to lay in small overlapping hairs. In whatever direction we kind of curve them, we can create a little bit of movement in the beard. So, oops, I'm completely off there, hun.
And you weren't on camera.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think maybe bring it out just a little bit more over here. Now we'll be glad for that dark color underneath, so it'll make this part go a lot faster. We're going to kind of imagine that this, grab some gray here, and imagine that this beard continues down here, so I'm going to bring it out just a little bit more.
He might have it tied off with some beads or something.
A la Jack Sparrow, kind of Jack Sparrow Christmas Santa style.
It's kind of hip, a hipster.
The hipster Santa. Like it. And if you don't follow Pirates of the Caribbean, Jack Sparrow was the Johnny Depp's character in for those. Somebody was saying that they don't live in the U.S., so they didn't know what Pop-Tarts were. We must have referenced Pop-Tarts the other day. She says she had to look them up. They sound delicious. That's what the comment was. I loved it.
They're very, very, very sweet.
Very sweet and very bad for you, I'm sure.
And they sell them at the vending machine at work.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so. And then
That's
sometimes I regret having them.
I'm sure you do. Okay. Just slowly building up colors, and if I get too much of the white in an area, I can go back in with some gray and just kind of tone it down. The idea is just to make sure that we don't cover up all the gray, so we have a little depth in there. If we have it all, solid white, then we won't have any kind of depth. So grab some of the, just sort of rocking it back and forth and moving side to side so that I don't have any one. I don't want a lot of repetition, so just keep your brush moving and kind of help avoid that. And then where we want it to maybe stand out a little bit more, we can go in with some brighter white. Really brighten it up. Kind of right in the middle here, I sort of want it to be nice and I'm not going to worry too much about where this starts because we'll go back in and shadow this area. So I just want to more interested in the direction of the hairs. They kind of come straight down, and then these ones sort of angle out just a little bit. Grab some of that gray. There we go. Grab some of that blue. Put some of the blue in here. Especially around the sides where I want it to maybe look more rounded. Let's grab a little bit of burnt umber. Use some of that. Just doing multiple layers. Okay, I like it. Now grabbing my white. No questions today. We've had a real quiet audience, I guess, huh?
Yeah, we just had a couple of questions, but you know, the crowds are pretty big and rowdy during these Patreon shows.
That's true. The Patreon groups are a little lot quieter. Okay, now I'm going to work on the mustache. I find that where you end, if you pull it, the end will be thinner than where you start. So it helps if you, especially with this mustache, if you start where you want it thickest, like up, you know, where the hair starts, and then pull down so that the end is the thinnest part. If that makes sense. The end of the line. Maybe the thinnest. Let's do. Ooh, that was very bright. Let's curve it up. The ends there. You could even go all the way around if you want to. Give them a real rounded. Pull a few of them up over. There we go. So I left the sides just a little bit darker than the mustache area, just so the mustache kind of pops forward a little bit brighter. Go in with even brighter white here. And if you lost all your gray and it's looking, you know, it's looking like a solid white, and you can always just go back in and add a little bit more gray. So just kind of do it slowly, build up your layers, and then you can always go back in and add more. Let's add some more white up here in his hat. Create some sort of folds right here. So doing a little bit brighter in the middle and along that area there to kind of make it look like it's folded. Leave it darker right here. Some real bright white. Oh, he's so cute. Love it.
Yes.
Got it.
Got it.
You're waiting for the cute.
Yep.
I haven't done as many cutes today. Okay, so now just going back in and kind of strategically bringing out some areas where I want that beard to sort of pop forward for me. I like it. Let's do a little ball. Just using what's on my brush here. I got all kinds of colors. Let's use some of that gray. Maybe a little bit of blue.
Okay, everybody in chat wants you to know that, how realistic this looks.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad. Yeah, I really like him. I'm liking him. I'm happy. Since I don't do a lot of these, it's always fun to do a challenge like this, though. Kind of challenge yourself to try something different. I'm happy with how he's turning out.
And why not do it live on YouTube?
Why not? You never,
Yeah.
You can only royally fail in front of, hundreds of people.
Exactly.
What could go wrong? Mixing up some of that dark gray here. Thanks for reminding me of that, honey. Appreciate it.
Don't worry about it.
I would never get on. If I thought about it too hard, there's no way I could. I don't know. I just try not to think about it too much. The bigger we get, the more, the more critics there are. So those, I just have to kind of.
Oh, yeah. What's that flower? I'm supposed to... Anemone?
Anemone.
Yeah. This isn't Santa. This is an enemy.
Anemone.
Anemone.
Not an enemy.
Public anemone.
They're not an enema. So we got to get those right, because I could... Going in with really dark now, just to kind of get those areas shadowed, really push back that kind of part of the beard there, or the hat, I mean. And my brush needs some water. Maybe add some more of that darker gray color around the sides of the face and underneath the beard here. And now I'm going to kind of go in with this blue-gray color and shadow just that area right there with some watered down paint. So you can still see the hairs through it, but it's just going to set that back in, so it's not going to look like the hairs are floating out in space. And grab a little bit of black, darken it up even more. There we go. This makes me ready for Christmas now. We're going to have to put up our Christmas tree next week. I can't believe it's already that time of year. It's just like blown by. Every year I'm not ready for Christmas. I never am. It always kind of sneaks up on me. Okay, let's grab some more of the brown. We'll do some brown on here. I feel like I want to separate this out from the hair a little bit better. Maybe grab some of this tonal color. I don't know what he thought. He thought that was a knock. Yeah. Here. No, I didn't fool him. Nope. He's like, I know it's you, Mom. You're not gonna fool me. Fool me once, shame on me. Or shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Okay. Add a little bit of wash of this brown here down in the beard too. Well, you got off pretty lucky on this one. This one's not going to be quite as long as some of the others.
I know, it's just coming up on, well,
2 hours?
about an hour and 45 minutes.
Nice.
Got plenty of time for a stick girl.
Oh, yeah. I'm just sweating that down. Okay. Getting some unbleached titanium here. There we go, with that brown color. And then we'll get the white. And put in some real bright white fluffies. I can tell the paint's getting sticky, so it's not wanting to blend as easily for me. Yeah, I think I'm happy with the cheeks being that bright. I don't know. You could tone it down a little bit if you wanted to. Maybe wash over it with just a slight bit of light pink. Maybe just around the edges a little bit, but I'm kind of liking the bright cheeks. I didn't give him dimples, that is one thing. But we could have, they're probably hiding behind the beard.
Okay, we got a question.
Oh, yay. All right. I'm ready.
If they don't have phthalo green yellow shade, what could they substitute?
Do you have phthalo green blue shade? Or even just phthalo blue with some yellow? Because that's really what phthalo green, is kind of phthalo blue with yellow added. Well, I'm sure it's got more than that, but you can get something similar. Okay, there we go. Okay, I feel like it could maybe come out a little bit over here. And some random stray hairs. This is definitely Christmas card material here, I think. You could probably have just enough time to get this painted and get them down to your print shop and print off some Christmas cards with this guy on them. I think it'd look great. Of course, if you're watching this, next year, there's no telling. I don't know what time you're watching it at, but right now we're, just the week before Thanksgiving, so in U.S. Canada had their Thanksgiving last month, I think, which probably makes more sense. I kind of think the U.S. probably ought to take that into advisement and move it back a little bit so that it's not crowding things. It gets lost with Halloween and everything. Pretty much after Halloween, you're just going straight into Christmas here. Thanksgiving kind of gets lost in the mix. It doesn't get its due attention anymore, except for sales. You know. That's about it. Okay. You know, I was gonna mess with the hat, but I'm sort of happy with it. I don't think I will. I don't know. I might darken it up just a little bit. We'll get in some of the quinacridone and a little bit of burnt umber here.
So, what about his eyebrows?
Oh yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I will put white on his eyebrows.
And that's a thank you to Karen.
Thank you, Karen, for reminding us. Me.
He uses that just for men on his eyebrows.
Just for men, yes, he does. Here again, a U.S. product for men to darken up their hair. Cover up the gray. I don't know why they don't have a product like that for women, because it sounds like, I'm sure they probably do.
Have you been down that aisle?
Well, I know that they have hair color, but
there's one product for men, and there's a zillion for women. It's kind of like you go into a clothing store. There's 10 square feet for men and 1,000,000 square feet for women.
As it should be.
Mm-hmm. It's not that men don't like to shop. It's the stores are saying, we don't want you here.
Stores are saying, you're not the ones that spend money. It's your wives. You're only here because you're with a woman. That's what it says. How many times have you gone shopping for clothes for yourself without me there?
Well, since I know I'll get that look when I come home. Well, I'm all proud of myself. Hey, look what I got for myself. And you look at it like, oh, that's nice.
When you came home with the dad jeans, the dad shorts. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, just anytime.
Okay, just adding some of that really bright red here to give it a pop of brightness in the hat. Cute. Like it. Get a little bit of that cadmium red light mixed in with the white and cadmium red. There we go. Just bring those out. I like it. Okay, eyebrows. Check. White, a little bit of unbleached titanium. Got a little bit of both on my brush here, and we'll just do little bits of. You want to zoom in?
I'm already there, babe.
Okay, good job.
Paying attention at the very end.
Check. I don't know what you do over there. I think you do crossword puzzles. Or no, I know you better than that.
I was going to say what? How long have we been married?
Yeah. When have you ever done a crossword puzzle? Well, you're watching cooking shows on YouTube.
There was that highlights magazine in the dentist's office at one time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there.
I guess I could bring the Xbox in here.
No, because then you'd
No?
be like, yes!
Oh.
No. Oh! You can't play that quietly. There's no way. I wouldn't know what was going on. No way. Okay. Do you see anything else? Anybody else? Because seems like every time I do one of these, I forget something. There was something else that I forgot the other day. It's just like when I get going with these live shows, I sometimes lose track of what I was planning. I like it. I think it's good. What do you think, hon?
No.
Let's give him a signature. Grab my pen here. This eye and this eye are different size, different. Okay, I just noticed that. I gotta change that because it's gonna bug me. Oh, and I left my paint setting out in my brush. I never do that. That is a bad habit. Don't ever do that.
I'm not cleaning that one.
First way to ruin a brush. My goodness. I know better than that. Well, there's no telling how long that's still sitting in my brush there. Okay, I'm going to get the black here because I just noticed this pupil and that pupil are different heights.
The people are saying there's no flowers.
Oh, yeah, well, we were talking about doing a
Or holly or
holly.
something.
Yeah, let's do that.
Thanks, everybody. We were that close to being done. Okay, so I'm making notes here of who suggested that.
Who said that?
Mm-hmm.
You're on the naughty list.
Yep.
Okay, well, you can take off the Santa now, I think. The reference, we're done with that, I think. We're caught up. I don't have a reference photo of Holly to use, but I'm just going to wing it. We'll see how it goes. What am I looking for? Let's get some chalk. I think that's dry enough. So let's put it up here. We need it go over the hat. So we'll do one here. And one here. And maybe one right here. What did you just do?
I was getting up to show you holly,
Oh, thank you.
and then I knocked over my water.
Okay, thanks. There we go. I'm going to use that. Okay, so phthalo green, and we'll use a little bit of burnt umber to darken it up. Add a little bit of white so it'll cover. It's not one to cover up. There we go. I think I probably need a smaller brush too. Get our number one round here. Let me add a little cadmium red. That'll make it more What you looking for?
Oh, I was just making sure the phone was staying on for your reference.
Oh, thank you. So far, so good. Grab some yellow. Create some highlights. It's sticky. I'm gonna have to just let it dry. Okay. So maybe I should do one coming down here this way. Mixing up some dark green here. It's probably not dark enough, but I'm gonna have to go a little bit lighter. Pretty much Holly are pretty easy because they just all kind of poke out, like all of these edges kind of curve like C's. So let's do one here. And these are fighting me. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if that white is still wet underneath or what, but it is not wanting to go down smoothly for me. I think my paints are just all drying. But the green is still is fresh, so I don't know what the deal is. There we go. I think all the other colors are just starting to get sticky and dry. Get some of that burnt umber phthalo green mixture here. Go. And maybe one more. Come down this way. A little smaller. No, it needs to be bigger. Okay, there we go. Mix up some brighter, more yellow, green. Whoop. Okay, it's getting into that gray. Let's do it over here. Your phone's, I lost my picture there. Let me switch to the, thank you. Okay, this is unbleached titanium mixed with those green and light yellow, cad yellow. Do our vein using a very thin brush here. And then there's bright spots in the leaves. They're so kind of solid, you're going to get kind of more hard-edged, or because they're so reflective, shiny, the reflections will be a little bit more, a little bit less blendy and a little bit more like a solid color almost. Blendy is a technical term there. Kind of doing in the little, instead of doing veins on the ends, like on, well, I guess I can do a few veins this way too, but kind of using the veins as a place where I'm putting my highlights, so that it's kind of highlighting those little sections. Maybe highlight the outer edges of some of them. Thank you, and Mark's coming through and touching his phone every now and then for me, so I can keep painting.
That doesn't sound creepy.
It does. Grabbing some of that brighter phthalo green now. Tap some of that in. This is just phthalo green straight, pretty much. So just going over some of those highlight areas and blending them in between. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Oh.
I was completely off there.
You weren't off very long. I was just zooming in, but instead of looking at the live monitor, I was looking at my computer. I was like,
oh,
why is that not zooming in? So yeah, sorry about that, everybody. It's like, man, the remote's broke or something.
not working. Okay. I think I'm all talked out. I'm just going to be quiet and painting here. Sorry. Not really explaining a whole lot. Okay, so grabbing some of that phthalo green. A little bit of black. And go back in here and darken up some of these areas. Pull out some thin lines, little thin spiky things. Add a little bit of water to my paint here so it'll come off my brush. If it's not coming off your brush easily, then it probably means that you need a little water added to your liner brush. It just won't flow off of these thin brushes very well without some water. And it's not going on opaquely, so I'm going to add a little bit of white to that color. Get a little bit of that black. Try to get it to get dark enough. Probably just gonna have to put a couple coats on there. That is just not wanting to cover for me. Just put a highlight there. Thank you, Mark. Touch. I should just say touch every time you come around and touch the phone. Tag.
That's what I do best. Just making sure the production continues on.
Well, trust me, it's nice to not have to worry about that. When I first was doing this, I was having to do everything. And it was very difficult to paint and do that. So I appreciate it very much. I'm sure everybody else does, because I know that the quality is a lot better than I did. A lot better most of the time, except for when I'm off camera and you don't tell me. So, which never happens anymore.
No, never. Or I'm looking at the wrong thing while I'm zooming in.
Right, exactly. Okay, so just going in here and adding little spiky tips to all of these. I really didn't do anything with the outer background, but you could, you could always kind of... Actually, let's put in some snow. I like that idea. We'll splatter it with some snow so it looks like it's snowing on our Santa. One of the photographs I found was snowing. I really liked it. Now I'm putting a lot of detail into this holly because we've got such a detailed Santa. We don't want to skimp on the holly and make it look, less than realistic. So trying to get it as realistic as I can with the paint fighting me the way it is. It's like... Let me grab some white here. Mix that. Make it shiny. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. We'll set those in a little bit more. Maybe a little bit of white. phthalo green here. Kind of brighten up around those highlight areas with that. Okay. And then I want some of that yellow green. Some white with my yellow. Go back in and kind of vein in or some of this color in a couple places as well. Okay. Go back in with my phthalo or phthalo green. Do one more pass. Make sure everything is filled in solid. Some of that highlight color here. I'm gonna just can't see this green against that. There we go. Against that hat color there. This is the longest holly berry bushes ever been. I swear. I thought this would not take very long, but it is.
That's okay. I wrote down the names.
You ruined my 30-minute warning.
Mm-hmm.
It's all shot. My average. You wrote down the names of those who suggested it.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay. Okay. There we go. It just needed going lighter and lighter, but I just needed to add to some dark. That's what it was missing. There we go. Now that little bit dark in there I think helps. I'll let that set and dry and we'll see. We might add a little bit more, but I think it's good. Grab the cadmium red. Uh-oh, you stopped your berries. I lost it. Thank you. Okay, doing some burnt umber, a little bit of Quinacridone Magenta with my cadmium red. And we'll do our little berries. Let's start with the darker color and we'll add some light on top. Grab some of that cadmium red light. Tap some of that in over. Some cadmium yellow, mix that with that cadmium red light. Some white. Oh, and I just stuck my sleeve in the Ultramarine Blue. Nice. Like full on blue sleeve now. So need to be sure that I don't touch that on my Santa. I'm gonna roll my sleeve up. Because I could just see laying my hand down on my Santa with my blue sleeve and getting it all over his face. That would not be bueno. No bueno. A little bit of highlights. Our berries. I'm going to grab that cadmium red and darken that up. And then there's like a dark, use the black. There's a dark like end to some of these. So there we go. And then I'm going to use that black with some of my green, make it really, really dark. Get in real dark in here. In between them. And do my little spikes. I can't believe I missed a couple, but there's a couple here that didn't get the little spikes, so make sure I put those in. Okay. just going to add some more shadows in a couple places. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Let me get a little bit more highlight right in here. Okay. A little bit of phthalo green here. That highlight color is just kind of washing out the green, so I want to add some of that phthalo green over the top, the brighter, just to brighten it up, so that it doesn't look so washed out. It stays that bright green color. He's growling at you. Okay, that's good, I think. Add just a little bit of white on our berries. What's Scooter's growling at? He's sleeping, he's growling in his sleep. That's funny. That's my dog, not me. Sorry. Likely story. All right. All right, get the blue here and some of this light unbleached titanium. I'm gonna add a little bit around the side here because I feel like it kind of lost some of that roundness right there. Okay, what was I gonna do? Oh, snow. Yep. So let's get a fan brush and some fresh white. I still could mess with that holly. It's still bugging me. It's not quite exactly what I want it to be looking like. But just right in here. This one. Okay. I swear, I'm done. Okay,
I'm taking my phone away so you can't look at it anymore.
Okay, now I'm done. Now I promise. Okay, let me put that right there. You might zoom out just a little. Okay. Here, I'll do it.
I'll zoom.
Okay, there we go. Looks good. Clean up there. Get everything out of the way that I don't want splattered. Splattered white. I'm going to grab my fan brush and a little bit of water in with my white here. Could use a toothbrush for this too. I like the fan brush because it tends to get a little bit bigger splatters to me than the and if you get them where you don't want it to be, you can tap off. I'm not going to do it because I like it just fine, but if you get too much in any one area, you can use a wet paper towel and just kind of tap off and get it off. Oh yeah, I like the snow effect.
I'm glad I moved my phone.
Yes. Yeah, and hopefully it never backlashes and goes up into the camera. That would be bad. You could even add some like little snowflakey looking things too if you wanted to. You know, maybe do a couple like more realistic looking snowflakes. But I want to leave it. I like it. So thanks guys so much for suggesting this in the Patreon group. Those who are part of my Facebook group on Patreon, they voted on this and I really love it. I think it turned out really good. I hope you like it too and hope you try it and share it with me, obviously. And we'll be back. I won't say what we're going to do because it'll probably be posted sometime this week, but I'm going to put it nice and dark right here. Dark gray shadow right there. And over here too. There we go. Okay, there we go. Just needed a little bit darker right there. Okay, that's it. I'm going to sign off here. Thanks guys so much, and we'll see you next time.